And we are here at NAMM 2025 at the Groove Synthesis booth with my dear friend and longtime compatriot Bob Coover, as well as Andrew Silverman, another of the developers of the Third Wave. Bob, it's been a little while. Why don't you let us know what's been up in Groove Synthesis and tell us about all the new things that you guys have got going on here.
All right, so since we've last talked, we've released a desktop. The desktop is the same thing as the keyboard. It's got the same 24 voices, it's got the same filter and analog back-end structure, it's got the same four-part multi-timbral, etc., etc. It's just a desktop version without the keyboard. So there you go. If you wanted a keyboard, which I still love, you get the big guy. If you need all the functionality but don't have the space, you've got the option now to get the desktop. And Sound on Sound has reviewed the desktop. You should look a couple issues back and read that review as well. And the other things that are new, that are very new, so I'll start with up here with the desktop and play it for you, is we've added, in addition to PPG signal chain and that whole wavetable, and in addition to modern day wavetables where we will make the wavetable for you when you bring in the audio, and in addition to the analog, if you want to do analog, because you've got the 24 analog filters and back end, or FM synthesis, so all the stuff that you already like that it will do, it will now also do sampling. So you're hearing a sample loop there getting played, and now you're hearing a Rhodes getting played, and there you go. The Rhodes is now happening at the same time as a hi-hat that I've got in there, and now we come back to a drum loop. So these guys are from, oh, and hang on, you can of course manipulate it now.
Of course.
So,
how many different layers of samples can you have in addition to the wavetables at a certain time?
you can, because this is four-part multi-timbral, you can have a sample on any of the three oscillators or all of the three oscillators or anything in between, and you can have samples for that matter on all four parts. So if you really wanted to tie yourself in a knot, you could have 12 different samples happening at the same time. This is an example here of one that we did with Maureen and Kurt, and this is poly samples that are playing a 808 and then polychords is what I meant to say, up here. And this is all happening at the same time. So that's all going on at the same time. I'm gonna edit just the, now I'm filtering out the drums completely because I'm on that patch. And now I'm doing a high pass on it. So you can do that kind of stuff too. But if I come back out of here, so that's an example where you are playing a bunch of stuff all at once, and these are those polychords. And if I push on it, so of course it's got all the normal modulation that you would want in there as well. But yeah, it's now got, so it's got not contact level of sampling,
no,
but 35 seconds of sampling, which is 10 times more than what the PPG had in the first place.
That's incredible. Yeah. I mean, it makes it even ups the level of doing live performance with it, right?
Oh yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, if you do, I mean, you guys have maybe seen this one because we did it at Super Booth, but this is the aim-in break, and this is the aim-in break with a couple of splits on it. So you can do stuff like, yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's an 808, and then up here I've got a keyboard going. And now, let me send that out to a delay line.
Wow. Bob, I'm so sad because once my son figures out that there's sampling on the thing, he's gonna take my third wave away from me and never let me have it back.
Ain't it the truth? So yeah, so it's got all of the sampling in addition to all the other stuff that it does. And it also has one of the other things that we've updated since then. Okay, so let me step back here. The first thing it did was the PPG. So it did the PPG processing chain exactly. Well, Sequential, as it turns out, back in the day when they were going to make a Prophet VS, they bought a PPG, brought it in-house, and a lot of the things, although the vector synthesis is a different method, it's a joystick where you're statically mixing between 4 waveforms, the processing chain underneath is a PPG.
That's so interesting.
So the PPG, the same imaging and incorrect things that make it sound so great, you get these harmonic related garbage that you get with imaging, that's in the VS too. So since we've last talked to you, we've also got Prophet VS factory patches in here because it does the Prophet VS exactly. So that's a factory patch from the VS. And here we go, film music. So it's the Prophet VS, that's patch 69 in the thing. Film strings. That's one of the factory patches.
That's so great.
And Pack Bell, I love this one. So but these are all factory patches from the VS.
One of the things that has blown me away so much about the third wave is how good the analog stuff sound, the analog synthesis stuff sounds in here. There are so many synths that say that they do analog, but the beautiful sound of the brass and the strings and the pads in this thing just blew my mind. You really, really nailed it. It sounds so good.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's got 3 oscillators, as a reminder.
Yeah.
It's got 3 oscillators, and it does spline interpolated virtual analog waveforms in here. So you've got the analog waveforms that are at the back end of a PPG wavetable, and those sound great, but they're very gritty and dirty and aliased, etc. We've also got the correct analog, and then it goes into, of course, the SSI 2140, which is what's in a Prophet 5. You've got 24 of those filters in here. Analog back end, out it goes. So it will do any of the things that you want to do with 3 oscillator or less analog as well. I don't know, bread and butter, stuff like that. So you've got that. Here's an example. We love Mr. Oberheim. Mr. Oberheim, we love you.
Of course.
And he lives very close to us. And it's got an SEM state variable filter in it as well. And you can do that type of analog. And then
thank you for not doing the jump.
I didn't want to, but that would be the patch you would do jump on. But yes, I didn't want to do that. And you've also got stuff like this where you're doing sync. So yeah, so you can You can do all of the stuff that you would cover with an analog synthesizer with this, and then some, because you've also got 4 layers, for crying out loud.
It's so great. I cannot tell you, and as a delighted owner of the third wave, I cannot tell you how much I love it and how much I get out of it every time I play with it. There's always new stuff to explore with it.
Excellent.
So Bob, how can people find out more about groove synthesis and about the third wave?
They can go, well, if you're at NAMM, you can pick one of these cards up, but they can go to the Third Wave website, and we've got these other 2 guys down here are Sound on Sound reviews. They've done a review both of the keyboard and of the desktop module, and we've got various other reviews. We've got Tape Op right behind me on the desk.
Great.
They've done a review for us.
Very nice.
They've got a third wave now at their studio, so stop by the Bolinas, California Tape Op studio.
Oh boy, do I miss Northern California.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, go there. We're at most of the dealers wherever you are in the world. In the U.S., of course, Sweetwater, Perfect Circuit, Noise Bug, et cetera,
All the good
Vintage
places.
King,
Yeah.
all of the, I mean, I'm of course forgetting a bunch. Alto Music, you name it. Detroit Modular, of course.
Of course.
Yes. So Chicago Music Exchange. Anyway, you can find it. If you can't find it, hit us up at support@groovesynthesis.com. If you own one, you've probably already hit us up.
Oh, yes.
And we've done a bunch of updates, which is why we're doing this video in the first place.
Right.
Because if we didn't listen to the owners, we wouldn't be having this video.
It's been wonderful to get those little emails every so often saying, time to update the firmware in your third wave. We've
Yep.
added this and this and this. I mean,
Yep.
you really, it's not abandonware at all. It's something where you can build a beautiful hardware platform and then continue to improve it and improve it and improve it.
Right.
So-
To circle back and compared to what you would have bought it with, you would have bought it with PPG modern day wavetables that will make the wavetables for you, and analog and FM. Since then, we've updated it to do Prophet VS, we've updated it to do sampling, we've updated it to do all kinds of modulation routings, we've updated it to do things with the sequencer that it didn't do before, lots of MIDI stuff, and we're still continuing to update it. So if you own one, hit us at support@groovesynthesis.com and we will listen to you and get it in as soon as we can. However, we are working on another product which won't be out for another year, and it's nothing to do with this, but you'll dig that too.
I can't wait to find out.
Yes.
Bob Coover of Groove Synthesis, thank you and have a wonderful NAMM.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick.